our webinar. Losing my thoughts here. That's the last time we had our webinar, and we had this hammer that formed right here. And we mentioned that, as long as the lower part of the shadow is hasn't been breached, then this is still a valid hammer. And on Friday, it looked as if that low of the shadow was about to be breached. But luckily on Monday, we had a nice recovery. You can almost say this is a piercing pattern type of candlestick. And today we finally got some follow through. And I think that was the main thing, is even though we had a hammer on Thursday, there was no follow through until today, where we actually traded above the hammer, and we closed pretty much right here at that previous resistance. As you can guess, very, very close to that 1300, as well as this 50-day moving average. So even though, yes, we did have some tremendous gains both yesterday and today, but we're not exactly out of the woods yet. The market is still contesting this 1300 level and that 50-day moving average. So until that breaks, then sure, then we can be a little more positive on the market. But for right now, it's still in this side trending type of consolidation pattern. And who knows, maybe this could be building a base. It almost looks like a double bottom right here. We have one bottom here and the other bottom late last week. So just like any other reversal patterns, you want to see it trade above the high. Okay, and if this is a double bottom, then we definitely want to see it trade above 1300 right there. Let's go into an hourly view to see what else is going on. Okay, the first thing that really pops in front of me right here is the stochastic, the hourly stochastic. And I always like using the hourly stochastic to tell me if a market is short-term overbought or short-term oversold. And right now we are definitely in that short-term overbought. The last time we had that was here when the market hit this previous high, and it fell down from there. And as you can see, every time the market kind of hit that short-term overbought, we had some kind of a pullback or had some kind of trend change. So right now, we are in that same situation where the market is short-term overbought, not to mention that it's right underneath that 1300 or right at this previous high. So as far as tomorrow, there's a very good chance, not certain, that we might see some kind of a pullback, some kind of a profit taking, especially when we have two strong days like this, and especially when things are a little bit stretched out from their moving averages, that I wouldn't be surprised, I wouldn't be surprised if it does pull back or if it consolidates a bit sideways. So, and the thing to watch out for is there are quite a bit of news coming out, with the whole thing about Greece, and especially with the QE2 that's ending on Thursday, or the last day is Thursday. So there's still a lot of uncertainties out there. Nobody really knows what's going to happen when QE2 ends. I mean, when we saw QE2 start, we had a pretty good rally, and so, and the thing is, you have to kind of watch out for the mass consensus. If everybody expects a big sell-off after QE2 ends, more than likely that usually does not pan out, because everyone expects that. But because no one really knows what's going to happen, then that's where the uncertainty, and that's where the market can really surprise you. So, always, like I mentioned, right, always stay nimble and dynamic in this market. And if you have profit, especially given these two strong days of gains, I would definitely take some profit. Just kind of like how we did here when we had 4 straight days of gains. You don't want to see it completely reverse on you, okay? And there is a chance that, yeah, it can come back down. Anything's possible, right? So you don't want to have that same situation. And if you were one of the brave ones who bought down here, then you know what? Today you're being rewarded right now, okay? Today is your reward for being brave down here and buying down here. So you got to take that opportunity and close out on some of the profits. And I've said this, I posted on the forums and all of that. It's better to have money in your pocket than to leave it on the table, right? Because if it's in your pocket, no one else can take that away from you, right? It's your money to keep. It's only when you either put it back on the table or if you leave it on the table that there's a chance that that money can go away. Okay, so if you have profit, especially in this choppy condition, I would definitely take it. Okay, until we get better trading conditions like this, then sure, you can let your profit run day in and day out. But now, not so much. Okay, not exactly the time to let your profit run. Let's go into the other indices. Anything you want to add here, Chris, before I go into the other ones?
No, I definitely want to take a look at the other indices.
Okay, cool. All right, let me go into the Dow Jones real fast. Same type of pattern, not a whole lot of difference between the Dow and the S&P 500. You can see that same type of deal right underneath that previous resistance, right underneath that 50-day moving average. Potential double bottom right here, okay? But all we need is to get above this previous high, which is about 12,200 or so. And then let's go into the NASDAQ here. NASDAQ a lot stronger than the other indices. You can see it's actually hitting that 50-day moving average, basically closing at or just slightly above that 50-day, almost breaking out from this small little flag here. You see that? So today was a pretty good strong breakout above 27 right there. And then lastly, let me go into the RUT. And I mentioned this before, the RUT usually I look at it as a good leading indicator. And since the RUT was holding on right here, forming a flag, and then actually broke above its 50-day moving average and closing above it today, then that to me is somewhat of a positive sign, So the RUT's telling me that there's a good chance that the other indices might follow suit and close above its 50 days. So it's just a matter of time to see if we can get above that level. But again, just like all the other indices, this thing's short-term overbought as well. Anything you want to add, Chris?
No, that's perfect, right on the dot.
Okay. Let's go over some stocks then. What do you have for us? Chris?
It's not pulling up on my screen.
Okay.
Lag. Let me check. BDX, it just hit a squeeze earlier today. After a huge run up the last couple months around May and April, it's just been side trending this whole month. So, and it just hit a squeeze. So, if you wanna wait till it gets above the squeeze is high to go in, that's fine. Or maybe if you're more conservative and you want to get above maybe 87, that's fine too. Just depends on your trading style, but it does look like it's ready to make a nice pop up.
Okay.
All right, next stock is CVH. Made a nice, the last 2 days actually, nice runs up, and I wouldn't be surprised to see it continue up higher. No, probably an entry would probably be about today's high. And then we'll see it moving up, probably to new highs. But it looks like a nice uptrend.
Okay.
And then the last stock that I want to take a look at is AGU. Yesterday on the market analysis, we were expecting AGU to have a breakout from a triangle pattern that it had formed, and it actually broke out today. So if you didn't get in on the breakout, I think right now is still a little bit too late, and it's probably going to run up and hit its target that I was looking at, and the target I was looking at was first resistance, which is around, ballpark around $89 or so. So if you didn't get in on the breakout today, don't chase it, and it's probably just going to move up. Just wait for another opportunity.
Yeah, that's a good point. Especially, I think a lot of times, let me just kind of expand on that. Some people ask, oh, is it too late to enter or is it not too late? I mean, it really depends on where you expect the target to be or where your anticipated target to be. Because if your target is here, then yeah, maybe it's a little too late. But let's say, you think the stock can go back up to 97.5, then no, right now it's not too late. Basically it's just a starting point of the overall target that you want to hit. So, whether it's too late or not, it really depends on your target, to be honest. and what you think this stock is capable of doing and where it's capable of moving. So, you have to ask yourself, I mean, if you think it's too late, then you have to define what's your target, and at the same time, what's your risk. I mean, if your risk is down here and your target is up here, then basically it's 50-50, right? Which I don't find that to be that great. But if you have a higher target and you're only risking that little, then sure, then that makes for a better risk and reward. So you ask yourself, so don't think that just because it made a first move that it's too late, but it depends on where your target is, like I mentioned. But great example here. I also have a few stocks for you guys, not a whole lot, because a lot of the stocks out there, a lot of the stocks that we mentioned are basically have already made their move. Stocks like TSCO that we keep mentioning, QLIC, even Herbalife today, where on a trade alert it hit our target basically right at the close. So a lot of these stocks that we watch and that we mention over and over, they could use a little bit of a rest. Okay, just like the market could pull back a little bit, but there are still a few out there that hasn't exactly moved yet. The first one is VCI. Also something we talked about, hasn't exactly moved, but it looks almost like it's ready to break out from here, from this long-term base. Above today's high would be nice, and probably put a stop underneath today's low. WLP. Okay, another stock that's basing, probably above 80 here. Okay, if it can base a little bit longer, that would be great. If you're a little more conservative, then you might wait for this previous high. But usually I would like to just enter above this base, and then if you're aggressive, you can actually add more on this breakout above this previous high here. Let me give you guys something else here. This isn't exactly something that we normally trade because, well, it's a weaker stock. It pulled back to this 50-day moving average. But, this is for those of you who like a fast rebound trade. And Barnes & Noble, BKS, could be potentially one of those, because I'm looking at some pretty oversold conditions. You have some divergence going on with both the MACD and the stochastic. And it looks like right near the close it pulled in a nice white candle. So, it's a pretty simple trade. Basically, depending on how tomorrow opens, you buy it at the open, you put a stop at the low here at 1650, and you aim for the next resistance, which is about 18. So that's something for you guys to play possibly even tomorrow. But again, this is not something that I would normally do. It's not part of the rules that I trade. But sometimes every now and then, you want to mix it up, switch it up a bit. And the ones that I tend to go for are these very oversold stocks that can use at least a good day or two's worth of rebound. So it's a quick in and out type of trade. It's definitely not a buy and hold sort of stock. But going back, like I mentioned, everything that we're looking at, a lot of the stocks that we like are a bit overbought right now. So let it rest. And as far as tomorrow goes, well, we really have to see if the market can break through 1300. And the main thing is, even though it breaks through, I want to see it close above 1300. Okay, because sometimes you can have it shoot above, and then it comes back down within the same day. It's creating a shooting star, and that's something you don't want to see. Okay, but you want to see it close above 1300, above that 50-day moving average. That would be a better sign. Okay. Other than that, anything else you want to say, Chris?
I don't really have anything to say about the markets, but I did want to talk about the forums real quick. I remember like a couple of years ago or 3 years ago, the forums didn't get a lot of action, and now they're just been getting a lot of action, and it's just amazing to see how our members have grown over the forums and what they're talking about and their chart skills. I'm really blown away. I'm proud of everybody. Just really blown away.
Yeah, same here. I mean, and that's what makes us, do what we do every day, is to make sure all our members are growing and learning and actually profiting off this market. And, if you aren't a member yet, you can come to our website and get a free 30-day trial. And other than that, I think that's it for today. And so we'll see you guys on Thursday around the same time. Have a good one.